Life doesn't always follow the playbook. Sometimes it throws you into moments so intense, so unexpected, that you have to rely on instinct, resilience, and preparation. Well, today on Transformation Station, we're talking about counterculture solutions, how to prepare for life's toughest tests with insight from someone who's faced them head on in the U.S. Army. Come on, let's get into it. Hello there. Welcome to Transformation Station, the podcast where we explore bold ideas, fresh perspectives, and the strategies that help us thrive through change. I'm your host, Adrienne Benton, and today we're diving into a conversation that goes far beyond business or leadership. Our topic is counterculture solutions, preparing for life's most intense moments. And to guide us, I'm super excited about the special guest that we have today. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Joshua Daniel is the founder and president of Hero Games Charity and the founder and CEO of Counterculture Solutions with over 20 years in special operations and 9 deployments serving in the 75th Ranger Regiment and Special Forces. Joshua has lived through the toughest situations and learned what it takes to lead, adapt, and dominate. And today, I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome Josh. Welcome to Transformation Station.
Hey, Adrian, how are you?
Doing fantastic. Well, listen, I'm super glad to have you here. Okay. So, Josh, as I was thinking about this conversation, here's what came to my mind. Most of us don't train for chaos, right? I would dare say that most of us, Josh, we plan for normal. Whatever normal is, we plan for normal, and we hope at the end of the day for steady, normal, steady. So Josh, I want to ask you, right? What inspired you to join the army, and how did your upbringing shape that decision?
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I had this innate desire to help. I just felt like my calling on earth was to help in some capacity. First responder kind of popped into my purview, and I thought, that's an admirable thing to do, and maybe that's what I'll do. And then I think over the course of several years throughout my teenage years, I was exposed to special operations, right? Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, Green Berets. And that was pretty much it for me. I saw that and I thought, okay, that's actually what I want to do for the rest of my life. And then I think in a lot of ways, 9/11 was a catalyst. I was in 9th grade on 9/11, and I remember everything about that day. And I think that was probably, as I said, the tipping point where I was committed to pursuing this idea. And then I joined at 17 years old when I was still in 11th grade. And here I am.
Wow. So as we talk about navigating, right, through tough times, can you share with us a pivotal moment from your special operations career that shaped you and your mindset?
So many times. I think I was a new person every 5 years. So I think that, maybe we can start at the beginning when I showed up to the 75th Ranger Regiment and I saw what high level performance was. And I was exposed to that every day for the 5 years that I spent in the Ranger Regiment. And so I think that a big mindset shift came when I joined the Army, right? They take you into this atmosphere. They pull you away from everything that you know and love, and they go, hey, this is how you're supposed to act. So that was a big one. Then, as I said, getting to the Ranger Regiment, this is just a higher level of thinking. These aren't normal guys at the time. Now there's females integrated into the regiment, but at the time, all men. And I remember looking around and going, whoa, this is a bunch of big brothers, a bunch of fathers, a bunch of uncles. Like, look at all of these examples that I have. Mm-hmm. And, I just picked from them. Said, I like that. I like that. I don't like that. And that began the mindset, I think, that I carry into today.
So talk to us a little bit more about how you recognized that your mindset was being shaped, was shifting.
I've always been a very introspective person. So the way that I experienced things and the way that I felt about those things, I was always looking deeper and thinking deeper than just the surface level. So I think that probably started as a child. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And as I went through my career, I just upped my amount of time that I was introspective. I spent more time looking inward. At times, maybe too much time, right? Mm-hmm. You need to detach. But that was a key for me. That's a key in my life, is that I don't just have things happen to me. These things occur, and I use them to make myself better, make the people around me better. And I mean, that's all. You can't do that if you don't look inward.
I love that. Right. So, we have many military members who are watching right now, and I know that they can relate to what you're sharing, right? That pivotal moment as they were going, whether it was going through boot camp, right? Or whether it was, getting to that first duty station and trying to, make sense of the lay of the land. And like you mentioned, that brotherhood, right? And, the mindset shift that happens just naturally in that environment, right? As you move from individual to corporate, right? As you go from I to we. So, Joshua, you talk about counterculture solutions, right? So can you define what does that mean to you? And the part B of that would be, why is it important when navigating life's most intense moments? Talk to us about counterculture solutions.
Yeah, I think you have asked that at the right time, because I can tie that back to my first experience in the Ranger Regiment of looking around and going, okay, this is what these guys do. They're all smart. They're all fit. They all hold themselves the same, chest up, head up, shoulders back. Okay, there's something going on here, right? And they believe in it. And so that set a precedence for me for the remainder of my life, that whatever I do, people will know that it's different. There's something special about those people, right? You look at the Ranger Regiment and you go, hey, they don't have to tell you that they're special. They're going to demonstrate that they're special, right? So as I moved into retirement, we had already been running Hero Games charity for 8 years when I retired. So I kind of got to dip my toes in the waters of the entrepreneurial world. And I knew that I wanted to continue to give back, but I wanted to expand it, right? Hero Games is about one thing. That is the Gold Star family that we honor that year. So I didn't want to do anything to take away from that, but I knew that I had 20 plus years of experience that I wanted to transfer. I wanted to give that to my community. So Counterculture Solutions was born. And why is it counterculture? It's not counterculture because we want to be different. We're not rebels. We're not acting in defiance of anything for no purpose. We believe in being exceptional. And being exceptional is unfortunately pretty counterculture. You look at the broad masses, being exceptional is not normal. So that's the mindset behind the name. Those are the people that we bring in, people that desire to be exceptional. They can be exceptional fathers, mothers. My father, he's a blue collar worker. He's been, working blue collar for over 40 years. He works at a graveyard. He may be the most exceptional man that I know. And he doesn't have a fancy, green beret to show anyone. He doesn't have that. Being exceptional is available to everyone.
I love that. I'm going to repeat that again. Being exceptional is available to everyone. So I'm going to ask you to double down on something you said a moment ago. And we're talking, actually, I'm going to go back to this. Can you double down on why is it important for us to have this counterculture mindset when we're navigating life's most intense moments? I would dare say that many people who are listening and watching this right now are probably feeling like they are literally living in a season where life is really intense, right? And you just talked to us about excellence, right? This counter culture mindset. Talk to us a little bit more. Why is this important as we're navigating these intense moments?
Yeah, the counterculture mindset is simply a growth mindset. We've not created anything here that didn't already exist. So it's simply a growth mindset that where you are right now is temporary. It is a season, for good or bad. It may be a good season, and hey, enjoy that. But just know that maybe there's something on the horizon that you need to be ready for. Um, so for us, it is, hey, in your darkest moments, you have to understand that this is exactly where you need to be. It's exactly where you need to be. Over the past couple of weeks, I've felt heavy, just watching current events in general, right? Not to dive into any details, but just to watch people ravage each other and all of the fighting. It's not something that I want to see in my country. I've seen that for enough of my life in other places. Man, I don't want that here. So here lately, I've kind of felt this weight on my shoulders of everything that's going on. Thank God that I'm in a position where my family is intact and my community here is intact. And, I feel very grateful for that. But what I'm getting at is, how fast can that change? It can change so quickly. And so the idea behind the counterculture mindset is, this is for us regardless of if we want it. It's necessary. It must be this way. And we're going to learn everything that we can from it, good or bad. We're going to carry that forward, and we're going to use that for us.
I love this, right? Because as I hear you, for myself, it's inspiring and motivating in terms of, it's almost like it's retraining our minds, right? To not dwell in the mediocre or the average, but to understand, you said something key. Every individual, every person has this opportunity towards excellence, right? So it's almost like where culture says react fast, counterculture says pause, breathe, enjoy the moment, right? Respond with clarity, not chaos. Where culture says go at it alone, if I hear you correctly, you're saying no, counterculture, you don't have to do this by yourself. Like, lean on your team, lean on your training, lean on your support system, right? Where culture says play it safe. We're talking to the leaders right now, right? Josh is saying to us, no, don't play it safe, but adapt, improvise, take smart risks.
I love that. I think you brought up so many good points there. The one that just I can't not comment on is playing it safe. My entire career was risky, but I love also that you said that it has to be calculated. I remember when I was in charge of a special forces team, I had my new guy plan a water operation that we were going into for training. And I remember having him look into all of the details, and I said, hey, what's the call? I let him think he was making the call on whether or not we were going to execute this training operation due to weather. We had some pretty serious weather, and, water gets very dangerous in bad weather conditions. And so he says, hey, I think we're good. I think we're good. Like, okay, tell me why you think we're good. Oh, well, and he proceeded to just give me this shallow or I guess hollow response. And I said, no, I want to know why you think we're good. Tell me about the water conditions. Tell me about the height of the waves. Tell me about our infill route. Tell me the details. I want to know why we're good. And he couldn't. And I said, okay, check it out. Never do that again. We don't take risk because we're bold or we have this idea of being courageous. That's ego talking. We take risk because we looked at it and we said, hey, this is the height of the swells. And this is the capability of the boats that we're in. This is the capability of the team. Okay, now you're talking to me about what assessing real risk looks like. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, hey, we're going to be good, bro. So
Mm-hmm.
I love that point. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to take the risk. Our job is inherently risky. And that's probably why everyone knows about us, right? One of the reasons. So if you sit back and you are safe about everything that you do and you're not willing to take any risk, whether that's in your personal business or actual business in the real world, then you're going to actually remain stagnant. You are.
Yeah, there's no growth. You're just
Growth.
standing still, you know? Wow. I love that.
What was the other part of your question?
I think the other part of my question, now I have to remember myself. I know we
Lot.
were talking about why is it important? Why is this counterculture mindset? Why is it important as we're navigating the most intense moments of life?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we probably already addressed that a little bit in just saying that, you can live this optimal life where it's full of challenge and reward and you get to experience so much, or you can just sit back and not take that route. And I imagine that when you're 80 years old, you'll probably sit on your front porch with a lot of regrets. You may have played it safe, and there you are at 80 sitting on that front porch. But I think you'll probably look back and go, man, if I could do it again, then I would have done it this way. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, no, I love it. So here in Transformation Station, as we talk with our guests, we always give our listeners and our viewers an opportunity to pause and just take a little assessment and reflect. And this is like a really good place, right? Because Josh has talked to us about counterculture mindset and how it's that opportunity towards excellence, right? And so to all the leaders who are listening and watching, I want to invite you right now to just pause and ask yourself, like, are you playing it safe in your leadership? Are you playing it safe with your team? Are you playing it safe to where it's just mediocre? Or are you moving towards taking calculated, right, strategic risks that give you an opportunity to grow, not just yourself, but with your team? Josh, I want to ask you this question, right? Because I really want to know this. What were some of the toughest setbacks you faced in your career, and how did you overcome them?
I think the toughest setback that I ever faced outside of losing teammates was when I took over a special forces team. And I had this idea about what that would look like, because I had been informally in charge of a special forces team several times prior to actually taking over one. And man, I crushed it every time. It's quite easy to be the senior guy in an organization that has a lot of great ideas, at least you think, but you actually don't carry any of the responsibility, right? So let's say that you're just a senior guy at the organization and you have all these things that you're going to tell the CEO, but the CEO is the one that has to actually live with those, right? That's a really nice and easy place to be. And I was that guy for a long time. And then, and I think that's exactly who you should be, because you're practicing, you're getting ready for that position. And so when I finally took over a team, it was not the experience that I expected. It was not the team that I expected. The culture was not what I expected. None of my expectations were met. And I remember thinking, what is going on? I had all of these opportunities up till now to take over dream teams. And then I run into a team that it's just not meeting my personal expectations. And that's where I'll leave that. Right. So here I am, because it's a 2-year position. I'm going, well, this is going to get better. Right. I'm going to make this better fast. And boy, did I grow, because I faced challenge after challenge after challenge that made me question everything that I had ever thought. And so I had to do a couple things in that moment. And I say in that moment, but that was 2 years. First, I had to trust my experience and I had to trust my gut, because there were people that were trying to tell me that that's not the truth. And I knew the truth, right? I know the truth. At that point, I had 18, 19 years in special operations. I knew what it was supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing I had to do was balance trusting my gut with listening.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be dangerous, because what if you violate some of your principles that you knew you shouldn't violate because you wanted to be open-minded? And the point is, I mean, it is a very difficult task to do. And the third thing that I think supported that exponentially was my ability to lean in on my mentors and to lean in on my family. My wife has had 1,000 conversations in the kitchen at 11 o'clock at night, coming back from a long training day, of me saying, hey, I don't know why. I don't know why they are doing this. I don't know why they feel this way. And she was always there to say, hey, you know what right looks like, but also don't shut your mind down. Listen to them with everything that they have to say, have conversations, communicate. And that's what I did. And I'm telling you, the leader that I am right now, I 10x'd to this position because of those 2 years. It would have taken me another 10 years, I guess, technically 10x, but it would have taken me a long time, right, to obtain that amount of growth if I had walked into a dream team.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I have found over the years, I have about over 20 years of leadership experience. And I found over the years, it's not the good times that really grounded me and caused me to become the leader. No, just like you said, it was the challenging times. It was the times when you want to just throw up your hands and be like, am I supposed to be here? What is really going on? I don't, you're just like, what? But it's those times that you really understand how to stay grounded under pressure, right? Number one, you learn a lot about yourself. That's number one. I've learned over the years that there are some times where I thought I was this great leader and I really wasn't. I wasn't I can't, we can blame other people for a lot, but sometimes you really have to stop and just take some assessment. I wasn't communicating the way I thought I was. And then I realized too that there were some times where it was all in here. I knew what I was thinking and what I expected, but my team they're not mind readers, right? And so, some of these hard times kind of cause you to stop, slow down, reset, and then we have to make a choice, right? Just like you did. You chose to lean into your mentor. You chose to talk with your wife, have conversations, do assessment, go back to the team. That's humility. Go back to the team, have conversations, right? And so, leaders, we're talking to you today. Josh and I are talking to you through his life, his experiences. Ask yourself right now, where in your leadership journey, maybe right now, today, this week is a good time to stop, reset, go and have some conversations with your team that you've been avoiding or you just haven't had. So Josh, I have to ask you this question, right? You brought us on the road of leadership. How do you define leadership, and what makes a great leader in high pressure situations?
Yeah. Leadership is simply providing purpose and direction to any group of people to accomplish a task. And for me, what I think makes a great leader is someone who's charismatic and someone who is caring, because people have to know that you care. They have to know that you care. But caring it's not enough. There are plenty of people that we know care about us and we still don't like them. And I actually do believe that if you really want a high performing team, they need to like you, right? And that's where I failed. I failed because I put so much focus on the mission and I forgot about relationships. Not in the sense that I didn't take care of them. I mean, my guys knew that they needed to put their family first. And this team never came in front of their family, because guess what? They're no good in combat if they're worried about their wife, they're worried about their kids. So their family always came first. I took care of them in that sense. Where I failed was I forgot that I could still be hard on them, hold them accountable, and still be friends with them, still be cool, right? I mean, I remember telling them at times like that I was not going to go out and have a beer with them that night. Hey, I'm not going out. In fact, I never did. I would go to dinner with them, but I would never go past that line because I had convinced myself that they didn't deserve that. And that was a mistake. What I should have done is held them to the same high standard, given them everything that I had all the same way, but I would have removed the emotion, which was anger. I was angry with them, and I would have never let them know that. I can't necessarily control my emotion and what I'm experiencing. I can control my next step. And oftentimes my next step was indifference towards them. And that was a huge mistake of mine. So don't let the emotion get involved. You can't, right? And, thank God I was able to learn that through that process and now use that to be a better leader.
I love that. I love that. As you were talking, I was thinking about this quote that says, "The worst day doesn't define a leader. It reveals the habits, relationships." We talked about the habits, the relationships, and the mindset that they built in advance. I love that. I love it. I love that. And so right now, we're going to just take an opportunity to reflect, right, to our leaders here. Ask yourself, what small daily habit am I building today that will serve me when pressure shows up tomorrow? Pressure will show up. It's a natural part of life. It's not good or bad. It is what it is. But we don't have to be unprepared. We may not know everything that's coming, but we can prepare ourselves to live and journey through pressure. All right. So, Josh, what does it mean to you to reject the status quo? And to those who are listening, how can people apply that in their own lives?
Yeah. Rejecting the status quo is waking up every day and knowing that you're going to give everyone around you everything that you have, because that's all it takes. And that's all they deserve is everything that you have. And that sounds easy, but it's not. It's exhausting. You're going to lose sleep. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose important relationships, but you're also going to lose relationships that need to go away. And applying that mindset to everything you do, that it deserves your full attention. It deserves some selflessness. That's my approach. And I'm able to lay down at night and know that, yeah, I definitely made some mistakes, but my heart was there. My heart was there. I was trying to do everything that I could to give back to the people in my life. And so that would be my approach.
Yeah, I love that. 1000%. Standing 10 toes down, Rejecting the status quo doesn't mean burning everything down, but it means choosing growth, right? Even when comfort whispers louder, it means choosing growth. And I think that is a phenomenal tension that as leaders, we're blessed to dwell through, So the leader that's listening right now and you're in that tension, I want to invite you, don't run away from the tension. Don't try to choose comfort, but ask yourself, what can I learn as I journey through this tension right here? So, Josh, as we turn the corner here, right, to our last question, I want to ask you, for our leaders who are watching and who are listening, what are some practical daily habits or mindset shifts that help build the resilience that's needed for high pressure situations?
When you face a high pressure situation, quite often it's a very short window in time. It's a very short window in time. And you don't have the opportunity to look inward and go, well, wonder how I feel about this. You don't. So in that moment, you're going to quickly reflect deep inside yourself, or you're not, and you're just going to shoot from the hip. But you should look inward and go, okay, what is the response here?
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't thought through that up to that moment, you're probably not going to react optimally. How could you? How could you? If I put you in a moral dilemma right now that you had never considered, you're probably not going to make a great decision. But if I go, hey, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to think about this, and then I present it to you, you're going to do significantly better. And I think the way that we get through or get to that position where we have all of those little, I would say, like SOP, standard operating procedures, we have all of those little answers inside. It's a lot easier. That high pressure situation goes up. You take a breath and you go, oh yeah, I have the answer for this. I've thought about this. I've thought about this 1,000 times. Maybe that's one of those, right? So you're not able to build that database unless you're introspective. And I think we're bringing it back to square one. Being introspective is so important for your growth.
Josh?
Did you lose me?
Yeah, my internet went out, so I had to quickly go to my phone, but I can edit it. So
yeah.
Do you remember what you were saying? Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't know where I was. I kept going.
Okay. So that means that it kept going too.
Yeah, I saw that it kept recording. I kept going, and it just didn't show you. And then I paused. So I think you have a good place to edit that if you want.
Okay, that's perfect. Did you finish your? Isn't that so crazy? I'm so glad I have multiple lights. I have this one that's still going. Otherwise, I'm here in the dark. Did you finish your thought?
I did finish my thought, and the last thing that I said was, unless you've been introspective for a very long time, you're not going to have that database of answers compiled. So when you face that high pressure situation, if you haven't spent the time in the past thinking about these types of things, you're going to look in and it ain't going to be there. Right. So investing in yourself comes through being introspective.
I love that. I love that. So, leaders, I want to invite you, as Josh just said, invest in yourself, right? Take some time to be introspective. That means stop, self-assessments, pause, listen. There's so much that's happening all around us. We have to pause sometimes and just be still. When we talk about resilience, right, we say, but bottom line, resilience isn't built in the storm. It's built in the daily practices that prepare you to face the storm with strength and clarity. And that's exactly what Josh has talked to us about as he talked to us about his journey in the special forces and what he learned from a leadership perspective as he was leading various teams. Josh, this has been so amazing. I am honored to have you here, and as we celebrate Veterans Day and acknowledge, we just want to say thank you so much for your service. And it is truly an honor to have you with us here at Transformation Station. I want to ask you this question. So I know that right now there are some leaders that are watching and listening, and they want to reach out to you. What is the best way that someone could reach out to you and tap into the resources you have?
Yeah, I think the best place is counterculturesolutions.com. Go on there, look at our services, or just hit the contact form, and we're super accessible.
Excellent. All right there. So Transformation Station community, you see it there on the screen. We want to invite you. It's also in the description box to go ahead and reach out to Josh, find out what resources he has. In addition to, send him a note and let him know that you heard or that you saw this podcast episode. Be sure to ask him questions, and hey, make sure you tell him, thank him for his service. Josh, thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Yeah, Adrian, thank you for your time. I've enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, there you have it. Another powerful reminder today that preparation isn't about expecting the worst. It's about equipping ourselves to rise above the moment, whatever comes. If this conversation gave you the tools or perspective for facing life's intense moments, share it with someone who could use that encouragement today. And don't forget to subscribe to Transformation Station so you're ready for the next shift in mindset leadership. All right. I'd love to hear from you. Make sure you reach out. And until next time, keep challenging your assumptions, keep building your resilience, and keep on leading your own transformation.